So Holy Week is something that growing up was never a thing for me.
I agree.
Palm Sunday,
Yes.
Easter Sunday,
Yes.
never talked about anything in between.
Not even Good Friday for you?
Nope.
Nope.
I was probably 10 years into ministry before we ever did Good Friday service. Yeah, I would say that's accurate. We probably only done maybe 6 or 7 of them. So Holy Week is different for me because it's probably one of the newer things that I've had the opportunity to maybe dive into over the last few years, and something that every year I kind of try to do a. I'm sure day one's posted, or whatever day you're watching this, you'll see some of them things of what's happening in the life of Jesus on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday. And it is very unique to think through. Was Holy Week a big thing for you growing up?
No. I'm very much more like what you were saying. The Palm Sunday, I remember those. I definitely obviously remember Easter. Now, I will say I do remember being involved in other ministries that did 7 saying services.
Really?
A lot of those were common in our area. So I would get invited.
The 7 sayings of Christ from the cross?
Correct.
And
so,
you would do that like on Good Friday?
Yep, they'll do them on Fridays typically.
So
And,
cool.
but even then, it wasn't. I didn't connect it to Good Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That was something in and of itself. And I sang at a lot of those. And then when I started preaching, I
What'd you
preached
sing?
a couple of them. Whatever they told me.
What
to sing.
you don't remember one of them? What you sung?
Probably I rest my case at the cross. I was singing
Come
about
on.
the Crab Family.
I rest my case at the cross,
Yes.
at the foot of the cross.
Yes.
Mm.
Yep.
You just say, there it is. There's my case.
Mm-hmm.
Right at it.
Right at the foot of the cross.
Right there.
Jason sung that?
Jason, yep. And the rest of them.
The rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
Mom and him?
Yep, Mama and them.
Hmm.
Mama Crab, shout out.
What about you?
Yeah, Palm Sunday was big at Elmwood. I think we did some Good Friday stuff as well. I don't know if
Because you went to the. I was about to say you went through a Baptist phase, but that's not the right way to phrase it. But you went in like
what does that mean?
I don't know. That's
Tell
why
me what that means.
you went into you once you got saved, you kind of went heavily into a Baptist church. So
Yeah.
you probably saw some things differently than I did from a Pentecostal standpoint. Because we love Palm Sunday because you
Yeah.
celebrate and worship.
Sure.
And we love Easter Sunday because we dance because He's risen. We just didn't. I don't know. We just didn't think about the time in between for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think even, I mean, there was probably some discipleship stuff that was done to talk about what was happening, but there wasn't really I was only there for a few years, so it wasn't like I could totally get the culture of it, but it was about the same. It was Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday actually probably wasn't as, at least in the church I was at, I don't remember Palm Sunday being as big of a deal as Easter. At least in the Baptist church. Now, Church of God, where I was at, that was the Palm Sunday, Good Friday. I think we did maybe an Easter play, maybe on Good Friday or something like that. And then Sunday we had a big Easter thing. So that was my background growing up.
Super cool. Caleb, do you ever remember not doing a Good Friday service?
Like, obviously, I remember years of my life where we didn't, but it's just been a thing for 6, 7, 8 years now, and that would have put me at 12, 11, 10.
Yeah.
You don't really remember specific times from being, like, specific services, but I definitely remember a time where we didn't do them, and I definitely remember some of the earlier ones, but...
Carson's prom this year is on Monday, Thursday, and
How do you say that word? M-A-U-D-Y.
Amaundi.
Monday? Monday?
Monday, Thursday.
Like Monday, like the day of the week, Thursday?
It's a dad joke, but I say it every year. That's the
It's the
Monday-est
Monday-est
Thursday ever.
Thursday.
Continue. That's just a thought.
Johnny Sprout.
Intrusive.
So Carson's prom is on Monday, Thursday, and at first we thought it was on Friday, and Caleb was like, "You can't miss Good Friday service. We've never missed a Good Friday service."
We haven't since we've had them.
And thankfully it wasn't on Good Friday, but it's it's funny, like something that was so not. It is truly. I say it all the time, but it is truly one of my favorite services of the year, Good Friday service.
Yeah.
And it's something that I had never been to one until our first one, and our first one was like almost like a celebration. And then we're like, what are we doing? Like, this is supposed to be a funeral
Darkest day in history.
Right.
you know? We look through the funeral process because we see, we see Sunday. It's only Friday, but Sunday's coming. What's his name that does that?
Kyle Russell.
Kyle Russell.
No.
Yeah.
No. What's his name?
Good job, Homer.
Russell Wilson?
Honestly, I have no clue, but I have watched it.
Oh, it's the Carrie Job guy.
No.
No.
SM Lockridge?
Yeah,
Lockridge.
Lockridge. That's it.
Yep.
SM Lockridge.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
The stone is rolled, but it's only Friday.
Yeah.
And Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
The kids are shining and the kids are haunting, but it's Friday.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
And
We
what?
did play that video. I know we did.
No doubt.
No doubt we played that.
I remember the first year it came out. Bruce Bailey actually sent it to me first year it came out, and man, I wept. I cried. It was so good.
So good.
It's Friday, but Sunday is coming. He's got another one that's really popular too, but I can't think of the name of that one. What's the other one, Caleb? Do you have his stuff pulled up?
I can.
What's the other? He's got another. It's almost like a spoken word.
That's my king.
That's my king. That's my king.
Yes.
Y'all need to go. Caleb, drop them links into the comment section. Both of those are powerful.
Please
You
do.
will love them. Go look at them. Yeah, the Kyle Russell one is actually, I sent him this old school one and told him, hey, here goes the original. I want you to remake it into a spoken word. And so he kind of took some of his flair and put his twist on it and made it into.
Kyle's is fire, though.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
Shout out, Kyle.
Yep. Shout out Kyle Russell.
Shout out Kyle Russell.
Were you here with Kyle?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Couple years.
Couple years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years, I think.
Kyle's the man. One of a kind.
Yeah.
So Good Friday. So a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff happening in the world. Obviously egg hunts were happening.
Mm-hmm.
You remember where Jesus was on his first egg hunt?
I was trying to figure out what you just said.
Do I remember where Jesus was
On his first egg hunt.
on his first egg hunt?
It was probably when he couldn't find any fish or bread.
Stupid.
So he went looking for an egg, and then he found that little boy
You're so
with the
stupid.
fish and the bread. But Jesus wasn't a good egg hunter.
Oh, Lord. We had some. I feel like you and I had this conversation on a podcast last year about egg hunt being so important to the local church at times, even more important than
Oh yeah.
other parts of Easter.
Oh yeah. I mean, I could definitely if you asked me to say, all right, you've been active in church, specifically on Sunday since I've been in church since I was a small kid, but like actively participating in the service part of it since I was about 15, 16. If you ask me what have I planned more, the worship service or the family activity, I would definitely probably say the family day activity, the egg hunt. Just kind of is what it is in that point.
You know where that came from?
I'm sure you're going to educate me.
Do you know where that came from?
Did it come from the Canterbury Egg Company?
Boom. Caleb, you know where the egg hunt came from?
Yes, because I just looked it up because I wasn't sure if you were going to ask me to answer the question or not.
So he
Good.
They date back to 16th century Martin Luther.
Correct.
Oh,
Organized egg hunts for his congregation.
pagan.
Martin Luther.
Martin
was
Luther?
95 Theses. Martin Luther
Please,
was definitely.
Mute his mic. Mute his mic again. What's he doing?
He's fanning the flame.
You know.
The men would hide the eggs for the women and the children. This was a nod to the story of the resurrection, which the empty tomb was discovered by women.
Mm.
I did not know that. I just learned something today.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Egg, new life, spring, Christ, new life in him.
Yeah.
It all kind of hinges from that. So, anyways, it's definitely a path that we talk about a lot and probably misrepresent or misunderstand a lot. But, yeah, so Holy Week, Favorite day of Holy Week. Obviously, Good Friday. Take away that. Favorite day of Holy Week. Minus Good Friday.
Ooh.
Don't take mine. Don't take mine.
So, like, we're talking to resurrection or right before.
Right before. So take out Friday and Sunday. Take out take
Thursday.
out Sunday, Friday, and
Only
Sunday.
Thursday.
Okay, Thursday. Why?
Because I think about the preparation that went into him actually getting nailed to the cross. I think the emotions, a divine being knowing what's happening, and then non-divine beings kind of in this place of, oh man, everything's changing. Either the disciples not knowing what's about to happen to someone they saw as divine, dealing with all that stuff, the emotions tied behind it, and then people who had no clue what they were doing what they did. So there's a lot of different emotions in play there. So
It's a very interesting day. Very dark day. How about you?
Monday. When he was whipping them, flipping over the tables.
That's your favorite day of Holy Week.
I mean,
When Jesus whipping people and flipping over tables.
that's how I grew up. We was whipping everybody. Jesus.
Pagan.
pagan.
Yeah, pagan.
Martin Luther, pagan. What are you thinking, dude?
we was gonna get right.
Nice. So Monday. Interesting.
Whipping.
I think for me, I really am a fan of either Wednesday, where there's not really much said about Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get this unique day of almost rest, but also knowing that knowing what was coming. If I were Jesus, I would have went on this massive tear of trying to, I guess tear is a bad word, or bad phrasing of it, but I would have went on this massive healing spree,
Right.
I would have just made, I'm gonna do this right, but instead he just chooses to be silent on Wednesday. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
And then I think the other day that really stands out to me is Saturday, a day where all hope is gone. Like, could you imagine investing for disciples? We think about the 3.5 years that they followed Christ, but they trained their entire life, went through school to be considered disciples of a rabbi. And this rabbi chose them to be a disciple, so they left their life to follow. They had finally gotten the call to be disciples. They leave their life to go follow after this rabbi, or after this teacher, find out that he's the Son of God, that he is the Christ, the Messiah. Everything that he has told them up to this point, they don't fully understand. They will a few days later. They don't fully understand. And so now they're in this place of everything. I just gave up my entire life for this guy, and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Everything, all hope is gone.
Yeah.
But Sunday's coming.
Sunday's coming.
It's a lot.
Where's the word Easter come from?
It's pagan.
There's a lot of pagan roots attached to every holiday, which is always strange for me, that we surrender so quickly to pagan roots. But I'm sure Easter is. Where's it come from?
Some say it comes from the Anglo-Saxon. There's two. Some say it comes with the Anglo-Saxon term for with the word Easter, translated as dawn, and associated with the spring equinox.
Come on.
Obviously, the way we get Easter Sunday every year is based off spring equinox and the first full moon on us after the first full moon. If y'all didn't know, the very first Sunday after the first full moon after spring equinox is when we determine the Easter date.
They use that farmer's almanac, get that going.
And then some will say it comes from the celebration.
Maddie, come say hey to the people.
My mom's keys and my keys on our cell phone and everything in.
Well, don't add those in there, and then we'd be really in trouble.
Awesome.
Or some say it comes from the pre-Christian goddess in England, Eostre, who was celebrated as the beginning of spring.
That's why they say pagan roots.
Probably.
It's in the King James Bible.
We have... But we've had this conversation on the podcast. Not
Easter
everything
is?
is pagan.
Look it up. Easter's in the King James version of the Bible.
No,
got to be 1611.
No, I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in there. That's why people like to use the King James version. Because it's got Easter in there.
Use the word Easter in the King James Bible. KJV, Acts 12:4. Is that Bible in front of you, KJV?
No, it's New King James.
I'm going to the Bible library to go get a KJV
It's
Bible.
okay, I got one right here on my phone.
Yeah, he's
I
got
didn't mean to throw y'all in a tizzy.
Acts 12.
No, it's not a tizzy.
I'm curious now. Okay, is it going to say after Easter? Because New King James says, so when he had arrested him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 squads of soldiers to keep him, intending to bring him before the people after Passover, is what New King James says.
After Easter.
Acts
bring
12,
it forth
Acts
to the people.
12:4 in our
Wow.
Yeah.
Bible and one of them in the library.
That's wild. Who knew the word Easter was in the King James
So it's not
version?
pagan, people.
That's right. It's in the King James version.
Look at Johnny dropping that knowledge on us.
I don't know, but then they have some problem with the KJV Bible and yada, yada, yada. Y'all people, just chill.
You got a problem with people today, don't you? What's going
Everybody, y'all
What's
be
going on?
making
Let's
me
talk
mad.
about it.
No, I don't want to.
on? Let's talk about it.
God, people can get offended. I don't
They
want
already are. You told them you got black underwear on.
black underwear
and
on
that sex before marriage
is bad.
Is bad.
Y'all lucky I muted him again.
Bad.
I feel like every time I come up here in the podcast room, I get into a.
Johnny, you've never recorded a podcast in this room.
It
This
don't
is a
matter.
new room.
It's this
So
mic.
so
It's when you get me in front of a mic.
so let's
let's take a break from Holy Week. Is this what was about the deep dive in Johnny's life?
how did you know Easter was in Acts?
It's just one of them random facts in my brain that I have.
That is random. You know, I'm sure I've read that before and never put this concept together, but
Spending a lot of time on YouTube, just like the pagan people do.
s-
He's really leaning into it today.
what is happening
I'm
right
trying to
now?
get y'all clicks.
Clicks from people who are mad at us about you calling everything
How can
pagan.
they be mad at you? Be mad at me?
It doesn't matter if they're mad at you. If they watch this, all they got to do is click back a few videos and they'll be mad at me.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Forgive me, everybody. I'm sorry that I called.
Oh, Lord.
you
Mute
pagan
him. Just
people.
mute him. Just mute him.
You
What are you
pagan-
doing?
You pagan people, I'm sorry.
What is pagan? Like if something's pagan, what does that mean?
I have no clue.
Come on now. You're the smartest guy in the room, maybe.
Don't know. I'm not. This guy right here, he's the smartest.
That
guy.
is true.
What's-
That's true.
It depends on what kind of smarts.
I'm about to say, it depends on what
Wisdom, biblical knowledge, here,
everything else.
Right there,
Useless
behind
knowledge right there behind the
Useless
camera.
You want the noun
knowledge.
or the adjective pagan?
Let's go with the adjective.
The adjective pagan, holding or constituting religious beliefs other than those of main recognized religions.
Okay.
I can get down with that.
The noun just being the personalized version of it.
Yeah.
Personalized? Personified? I don't know what the correct wording
So
for that is.
anything not coming out of Scripture.
I think like I think of like the Celtic,
Nordic.
Nordic stuff.
That was Nordic roots. I'm big into Vikings, so Nordic.
Why?
Have a
Why
lot
are you
of-
big into Vikings?
Because I'm
'Cause he,
11% Viking.
Let's go.
Norwegian.
He's more
I'm
more
point-
Viking than we are Nigerian, man.
I'm 0.4% Nigerian.
I am. Hold on.
And I'm
hold on,
very proud
hold
of
on.
that.
You-
4,
What are you counting?
I'm about 8% because I went to my high school. They're the Vikings. I went there for about 4 years. I'm 29 years old.
He's
So
8%
it's about
Viking.
8% Viking.
Listen, my name is Norris. They said that name came
Ooh.
what the English called the Norse when they came over. So I thought I was really, really a Viking, and then I found I was only 11%. I was a little disappointed, but 11% is pretty strong.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah. So, but anyways, Nordic faith has a lot of Christian roots and similarities.
Twisted. They
But
twist it.
They do the winter solstice. They do
Right.
the spring, all that stuff that kind of aligns with Easter and everything. And so a lot of them overlap in some ways. Time of
Interesting.
year celebration, stuff like that.
Johnny, do you know why we celebrate Easter when we celebrate Easter?
No clue.
Do you know why we celebrate Easter when?
Because it's the first full moon after the spring day, and
We, like, do you know why like we choose December 25th as Christmas?
yes,
Because it's pagan.
No, that
9 months after.
we believe that prophets are born and are conceived and die on the same day. We don't believe that, but it was
9
believed.
months.
It's believed they were conceived and die on the same day. That's why we've pushed Christmas to being
That's
December
incredible.
25th, because we have went back in the year that we expect Christ to have died and went with our what Georgian calendars compared to the Jewish calendar and said, okay, well, we know he died on this day in the Jewish calendar, and is it Gregorian or is it
Gregorian.
Georgian? I was like,
Gregorian.
I knew it's something like
I'm about
that.
to say
And
Georgia's calendar, bro. Don't be listening to people in
That's
Georgia.
like the Farmer's Almanac.
Dumber than South Carolinians.
But there's a Georgia as a country too, so we gotta be careful.
Georgia Bulldogs, dumb folk, y'all.
Yeah,
Go
but
Gamecocks.
Now they really don't
Go
like us.
Gamecocks. I don't know.
I and my listen,
Here we go.
Final Four
Okay.
this year.
oh, your men's basketball bracket.
My men's basketball
We're
bracket.
making everybody mad today.
Well, I mean, you've called everybody pagan.
Everybody just
And-
made fun of Georgia fans.
and their
Well,
uncle.
no, not Georgia fans. People from Georgia.
so a bigger man.
They
That's
all
better.
dumb.
That's
Oh.
better.
They all dumb. No, I'm
Hopefully
just
you
kidding. I
guys
love
are-
you, people from Georgia.
Sometimes.
Because you know, Reba's gonna see this and she's gonna be like, "I can't believe you called me." dumb."
Reba don't watch the podcast.
Carson's gonna show her this one.
Carson might.
So my my Final Four. How do I find this thing?
You open your Yahoo app.
Not
so
easy.
hard.
You click men's
Yahoo
basketball.
It's
Turning picker.
terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
You click
I don't
Spoiler
know.
play.
alert, you went as a
And then
homer.
You just scroll down, and you click the Palmetto Pointe Church bracket. Do you want me to read yours off to you?
I don't have it.
Honestly, I can't find mine, so I can't help you.
You got it?
I don't have it.
Throw me your phone.
It's not on here.
Throw me your phone.
We got his fantasy football team, though.
Throw me your phone.
Men's bracket. Build a bracket.
Play.
Let's see. Let's see if mine's on there.
Then you just scroll down to my bracket. Once you click,
View bracket. All right. So my Final Four is Clemson's losing first round.
Yes.
That's an easy call.
It's not an easy call, but it's an easy call for y'all.
Right.
My Final Four: North Carolina,
Okay.
they're in my Final Four.
Auburn,
They're not in my
Hmm.
Final Four.
Kentucky,
They're in my
Oh,
Final
okay.
Four.
and South Carolina.
SEC bias, I hear.
They're not in my Final
And
Four.
South Carolina.
dripping.
I picked.
Final championship game: North Carolina, Kentucky. Kentucky winning it all.
I have North Carolina versus South Carolina.
What is your love affair with Kentucky?
Well, whenever I was growing up, South Carolina didn't have a basketball team. They were terrible, and so
They had
Um,
one. It was bad.
Oh, they were good in the '80s.
so I became a Kentucky basketball fan. Wow. Ironically.
Mm.
This is before I knew anything about like SEC. I can't pull for them because they're
Right.
so. Anyways, huge. Jamal Mashburn was my dude back in the day.
Respect.
Loved him. Antoine Walker. Tayshaun Prince was
Yes,
a beast.
sir.
That dude pull up at half court.
Detroit basketball.
So,
That's funny.
anyways, huge Kentucky fan. So I have this. I pick them every year. I literally pick them every year. Who got winning it all?
They're Blue
Carolina.
And both my brackets have South Carolina winning.
Let's go.
And I picked by best logo for one of them.
Let's go. What's you? Who you got?
I haven't completely filled mine out, but I would say either North Carolina. I don't know. Caleb's got me on the Iowa State bandwagon.
Iowa State looks gross.
Who you got in your Final Four?
My Final Four is Iowa State playing North Carolina, Kentucky playing Tennessee. Tennessee beats Kentucky. Iowa State beats North Carolina. Iowa State wins it all 74-69.
I bet all
Interesting.
four of those don't make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, I mean, recently, 20 years ago, you could almost go chalk and have a really good bracket.
Just blue bloods?
No, chalk.
It's
Like
a good show.
one beating, 1, 2, 3, everybody moving forward, the higher seed moving forward. You cannot go chalk anymore.
No, like Brown University is going to beat somebody.
Yeah.
St. Vincent, or not. What's the one?
I mean, in the history of this tournament,
Loyola
no
Chicago
16
Blue.
had ever beat a 1.
Yeah.
And then, like, what was it, last year, 2 years ago?
I think
Yeah, it's
three. I
happened
think it was
like
like 3
2
years
years in a
ago.
row or something
That
like that.
Virginia team got blew out. Unless Virginia,
Yeah.
or was it Virginia was a 1 seed or a 2 seed when they lost to Ohio?
I can't remember.
16 seeds to win.
Watch out for South Dakota State. I think they're going to do something.
Jack Rapids?
Them Jackrabbits. They're going to do something in that first round.
UMBC,
Yep.
Maryland, and Baltimore, and Farley Dickinson are the only 16s to ever beat a 1 seed since 1985.
And that was recently.
Yes. One was
2021?
UMBC was probably 2019.
No.
I think UMBC year was 2019.
No.
I think when Virginia lost, they were a 2 seed. I could be wrong.
I
Those
think they
small
lost to Ohio as a
conferences-
2 seed. Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
small conferences with teams that win the championship that haven't lost many games, they're the ones to watch out for. They'll
You
make
got to
a
look
run.
for the trapezoid of excellence. 2019 was the tournament run. 2018 was a tournament run. Sorry, the UMBC one was 2018.
I mean, you got Grand Canyon did something.
2023, FDU beat Purdue.
Farley Dickinson.
Yeah.
That was 2023.
And
It's wild. What was the other one?
UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County.
And that was 2018?
Yes.
Yeah, against Virginia.
Dang, Virginia been on the side of 2 historic upsets.
Because
They were-
people from Virginia stupid and
Yeah.
dumb, too.
Son,
Can't play no basketball.
I'm going to have to mute you.
All Americans, man, they really get on my nerves.
All Americans. Let's just offend them all. Americans.
Please
Americans.
This has not been our best work.
Oh, Lord.
Stop.
Oh,
Mute
Lord.
it. Mute it.
I saw it coming out of your mouth. I watched it rise as you giggled in your belly, and then it started coming, and then you got straight face as you were about to say it.
And that's why I'm
So,
scratching my leg.
so Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, come on. Come on.
Kansas.
No.
Nebraska.
So Easter and Acts.
Eastern
12-4.
Act, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I think this is one of those things where, unfortunately for us in the church world, Holy Week has become common.
Mm.
And it's sad, and I wish it weren't that way, but it is where we are in our culture, and so every year I try to maybe fight a little harder to make it less of a common week and more of a, maybe put a little more emphasis on it.
Yeah, I think we don't. We have a hard time internalizing how all the emotions and feelings that were taking place during that week, because we have a hard time doing it, which is I think why, if you're watching this, you should check out the Holy Week videos that we do. But for me, sometimes I forget like simple things. Like I was talking to my aunt last night, and she's helping me prep for some school stuff, and we were just talking about my baby and how he started crying. Like he's now noticeably crying more, and I see those times where it's hard for me to console him, and how I just melt when I see him cry. And she's so wise. She said something to me, and she said, and John, that there's a verse in the Old Testament that says he rejoices over us and covers us like a mother hen or whatever. And she said, can you imagine that when you feel that way, that's what he does to you? And I was like, come on, like the putting things in perspective. And so I think, in these moments we should really try to internalize, take ourselves out of the conversation and put ourselves where, with what was happening during this time and how it really must have felt, and then look back at our lives and say, okay, how can I apply this to my life? So
Yeah, I think because we know the end of the story, it's really hard to walk through the emotions of the week.
Yeah.
Because all we know is, hey, there's a resurrection coming. They didn't know that. you know?
Yeah.
And so it is an emotional week, and nothing that we should, we should definitely spend some time pondering, thinking, and emotionally walking through this week with them to the best of our ability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to Johnny's point, for me, having that perspective for us now, but in the story, Christ only being the one that had that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, Friday being what it was, but Thursday specifically of the preparation for communion and all the things that went into that, and Friday together with Passover and all the kind of things that, knowing that that's what was coming, he served, he washed feet, knowing that was, this is the image he wanted to leave with them. And so it's a lot to process from top to bottom.
Yeah, another thing, like internalizing it for me was like thinking about my life is, I don't know the exact passage or whatever, but I think it might have been the Last Supper that we call it or whatever, and they stood up and says they like stood up and sang a hymn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder what it was like to actually sing a hymn in that moment. Like, what was the emotion tied behind that? And so thinking about, like, how do you worship in a moment where there just seems to be, like, Jesus, what was his singing like in that moment? What was the emotion tied behind that? The disciples, what was the emotion tied behind their singing, their worship? And then, like for me, when I'm dealing with stuff in those moments, what is my worship like?
And then you wonder, like, what song would they have sung?
I think I know.
Oh, Lord.
Oh,
See if it's the same one.
I think there's actually
See if it's the same one that I'm thinking.
It's Psalms. It's
Okay.
It's in Psalms.
See, I was
Caleb, you could look it up. You could Google it. What hymn did they sing at the Last Supper? It's like
Psalms 118,
yeah.
which is
That's the Victory is my new song.
Yeah.
Because victory is your song. It's a powerful hymn.
So then if you think about it in that way, a psalm of victory.
Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. Let Israel say, his love endures forever. Let the house of Aaron say, his love endures forever. Let those who fear the Lord say, his love endures forever. When hard pressed, I cried to the Lord. He brought me into a spacious place. The Lord is with me. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? The Lord is with me. He is my helper. I look in triumph on my enemies. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in humans. It is better to take refuge in the Lord than to trust in princes. All the nations surrounded me, but in the name of the Lord I cut them down. They surrounded me on every side, but in the name of the Lord I cut them down. They swarmed around me like bees, but they were consumed as quickly as burning thorns. And in the name of the Lord I cut them down. I was pushed back and about to fall, but the Lord helped me. The Lord is my defense and and he has become my salvation.
Come on.
The shouts of joy and victory resound in the tents of the righteous. The Lord's right hand has done many mighty things. The Lord's right hand is lifted high. The Lord's right hand has done mighty things. I will not die but live, and I will proclaim what the Lord has done. The Lord has chastened me severely, but he has not given me over to death. Open for me the gates of the righteous. I will enter and give thanks to the Lord. This is the gate of the Lord through which the righteous may enter. I will give you thanks, for you answered me. You have become my salvation. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. The Lord has done it to this very day. Let us rejoice and be glad. Lord, save us. Lord, grant us success. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. From the house of the Lord we bless you. The Lord is God, and he has made his light shine on us, and is with bows and hands and join in festal procession up on the horns of the altar. You are my God, and I will praise you. You are my God, and I will exalt you. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. I thought that was going to be way shorter, and I was going to just...
to the Lord.
Yeah,
For
it's a longer one for sure.
His love endures forever.
But
definitely not a
seriously
7-Eleven.
thinking about how Jesus would have sang that, it's such a prophetic psalm. If he closed his eyes singing that song, thinking about, okay, this is what's in store for
I
me.
trust in you, not in horses, not in chariots, not in princes. It's powerful, man.
Yep.
I did not. I wonder where they're
Pulling it from?
Why are they assuming that's what he sung?
I think that's what you sing.
The Halal is comprised of Psalm 113 through 118 through the Passover feast, and with it being on Thursday night, that would have been the psalm they sung.
Very interesting. Huh. Guess what, guys?
What?
This may be so interesting that you may see this in the Good Friday service.
Oh, it's got his you know, Dad knows how to move his ears. Dad knows how to move his ears, which means he might be thinking about some stuff.
Yeah. So,
I like it.
anyways, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for spending some time, and appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Hope you all enjoyed the first podcast in the new room.
And let's go Kentucky.
Go Wildcats.
Roll Tide.
What?
War Eagle.
Just do the outro.
What's Iowa State's mascot?
Cyclones.
Cyclones, baby.
Get them spinning. Get them spinning.
Anyways, this
Bob
may have been
Jones.
the
Let's go, Bob
weirdest
Jones.
podcast ever. We went.
Two.
Let's label this weirdest podcast ever.
Bob Jones. Let's go. They're going to win it all.
Bob Jones is not in the tournament.
No.
No. All right.
Oh.
Do the
God
outro.
bless. Peace out.
Peace out.
Let's go. Click here. Next video. Click here to subscribe. Whatever's coming up here one day. Peace.
See ya.
Peace.